You're live, sir.
We are live. All right, everybody. Welcome to this Thursday night's edition of the Live Well here at Fish North, Georgia. We are so glad you took some time to hang out with us tonight. Got a great show in store for you. Got a nice little story with this up-and-coming angler right here that we're going to be introducing you to. A lot of you guys already know him, and, of course, we're going to do all the other stuff like give away a great prize with Kevin's crazy question of the week. It's going to be a good one for you guys. So if you're watching on YouTube, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button, click that notification bell, and follow FNGO Fish North Georgia on all our social media platforms. Tim is back in the back there. How you doing tonight? You back there? I got to get him used to the new buttons.
Yeah, I'm back here in my own little office.
We got him an office there tonight, so you're doing good. So let's go ahead and take care of business with our sponsors. And, of course, we always start out with our guys over at Sonar Pro, Trenton the Gang. If you want quality, and I mean the best of all installations for your sonar, you're spending a lot of money on it, you might as well have the best in the business do it, and that's Trenton the Guys. By appointment only, 770-530-4505. Give them a call. Tell them the guys at Fish North Georgia sent you. And, again, to me, personally, I think the best guide on Lake Lanier, you see it all the time on our Facebook page and on his, holding up these gigantic megalodon spots. That's Kevin Underwood with Lip Sticker Fishing. Guys, he can not only put you on the big fish, but he also can show you everything you need to know about your sonar and teach you all those little tricks that he likes to use to put them in the boat. www.lipstickerfishing, or you can check him out on Facebook as well. Now, as always, the best rod sleeve on the market, Evolve rod sleeves. You hear us talking about it. Guys have been coming in here at the shop, buying them up. I have not got one negative comment at all from them. They float. You can't get your hooks in them. Everything about these things are perfect. Evolve rod sleeve. We've got them here at Fish North Georgia. Come check them out. And then if you're in the kayak game, whether it be whitewater rafting, paddle sports, or you like to fish, Festive Waters off Highway 369. Nathan and the guys over there, go check them out. They can set you up with the exact kayak, the exact boat you need for whatever application you want to use it for. Great guys. www.festivewaters.com, or just go check them out on 369. They're actually getting ready to expand, so big things coming in store for them. Now, we all know how much money we spend on all these lures. They're getting more expensive every day. You know how frustrating it is when you get hung up. The Money Saver Lure Retriever is by far the best plug knocker I have ever seen on the market. Very simple to use, designed by Richard Kia Pro with the National Professional Fishing League. Check them out. It will save you money down the line. Of course, we got them right here at Fish North Georgia, or you can get them at fngo.com. And then our buddies, you awake over there?
I'm awake.
I just want to make sure while I looked over there, our buddies at Turner Tire in Jasper, Georgia. If you are looking to get into I messed that up. You know why I messed that up? I took my glasses off and I can't read the number behind me. So I was thinking ahead of you. You got to read the number for me.
706-253-3339.
It was one of them blunders. But guys, if you're in the Jasper area, family-owned business, Brock and the guys, they're great anglers and everything, but they will treat you right whether you need a new set of tires, brakes, alignment. They got everything for you. Make sure you check them out, Turner Tire. And, of course, Etowah Mead Beer and Wine in Dahlonega, Georgia. Kevin, what did you have the night before the show?
Airbnb.
Same thing every time. You love that.
Every time. I love that.
If you're in the Dahlonega area, go hang out there with them. They've got a great little spot right there, great bar. Thursday nights they do trivia. It's a college town, so a lot happening always. They got live music and everything. And mead can be shipped. So go check them out on their website. It can be shipped all across the United States because it is classified as a wine. So that's Etowah Mead Beer and Wine in Dahlonega, Georgia. And we appreciate all of those guys' support. So also, season 2 of the Real American Road Trip is getting ready to drop, guys. You're going to see me fishing in Michigan. Spent a week up at Oktoberfest in Helen, back down in the Gulf. We got a lot of great episodes. That's getting ready to drop, but we're kicking up our YouTube page again, and we're going to start having a lot of content behind the scenes that didn't make the show. We're going to start a podcast talking about all our travels and various relatable subjects. So that's getting ready to kick up, and there you go, Eric Richards. Don't forget to stop by your local FNG store for all your big fish catching needs. Hey, Eric, I love you like that. Still got to call you back, buddy, but he called me today, and I'm like, I was busy. I always said, but I'm going to call you back, but I forgot. But anyway, seriously, if you go over to YouTube, type in the Real, REEL American Road Trip, like and subscribe that and help us build that page up. Got a lot of great stuff coming down the line. So we got us a Fish North Georgia first-timer tonight, and he's nervous. We're going to take it easy on him. Young kid, fishes for Dawson County High School. Reed Rooke. You can say hello, Reed, now.
Hey, thank you guys again for having me on. I'm super excited to be here.
There you go, talking like a true professional. So and we got to get him to relax a little bit. So he's a little bit nervous. So we told him we'd take it easy on him like that. But he is part of the 2024 Angler of the Year team with Georgia Bass Nation High School.
Yes, sir.
So that means you know a little bit about fishing.
I do.
A little bit?
Little
Okay,
bit
good.
here and
So
there.
we're gonna talk to him tonight and kind of get a different perspective of, not only the high school fishing, but also Lake Lanier in general, some of the, tips and techniques that we can try to squeeze out of him and just see if we can get as much juice out of this young man as possible. And of course, Kevin's got his question of the week, 22-part question of the week tonight. I'm looking forward to that. I already know that one. And we're actually going to give away, I'm going to give away the load light that you guys didn't win last week because nobody answered the question. And also, through the course of the show, maybe a couple of our new Fish North Georgia hats out there. And again, if you don't win, you can always buy one at fngo.com. So Dane Hunter says, so he knows more than Tim. That's right. Trey G says they let anyone on here, huh? So is that your buddy?
Yeah, I know him.
You know Trey G?
I do.
All right, well, there you go. So go right up above that one. We got a big screen in here tonight, and I'm trying to do this show without my glasses. So it was right up above that one. Dean Bowling Jr., the road show needs to fish the Atlantic. Can you read that in there, Tim? There we go. Out of Tybee. Dean, I tried to do that back in 2012, St. Patrick's Day weekend.
That wasn't a good weekend.
Not a good move. Not a good move. It just seemed like the right thing to do at the time. Got about an hour's sleep, and I threw up for about 4 hours. Once we get out there, it was rough. But, hey, we got to go make that trip. Sure, I would love to do that. So we'll see if we can get down there. And anyway, so let's start talking to our guest here. So Dawson County High?
Yes, sir, Dawson County.
And you're how old?
I'm 17 going into my senior year of high school.
There you go. We promised if any of his relatives or parents ever watch this, we promise to be nice to him here tonight like that. So my kids went to Dawson. I told you that the other day. So all three of mine. So good school, fishing team. That was not around when my son was in there. So that's, new thing. But you guys seem to have a pretty good program up there.
Yeah, we got a few teams that do pretty good everywhere we go.
Yeah. So who's the coach?
Miss Donna Melton was the coach.
Donna Melton. I know Miss Melton.
Yeah, she was the coach the past few years.
Yeah.
And I think Rickett is the new coach.
Rickett's the new coach. You got a new one coming in. I know Miss Melton. I think my son got in trouble by her a couple of times or two. So we know her very well. And our daughters, I think, played softball together back in the day. So he's still driving around the traffic cone. That's a story. So what's the story behind the traffic cone?
Oh, it's just the black and orange boat sticks out like a sore thumb.
Oh, so that's what your boat is, orange?
Yeah, black and orange.
And what kind of boat? This is for Ken Pruitt in the audience. What kind of boat you got?
Bass Cat era.
Yeah. He says yours is faster than his.
It's quick.
It's quick. What you got on the back of it?
250 Pro XS.
250. Okay, I tell you what is it about Bass Cat boats you like?
They ride really good.
Yeah.
In rough water, and I mean, I like the layout of the compartments. It's a little different than just the one big compartment.
Right.
You got your one big compartment, then you got your side compartment, and you got your day box.
Right.
That's one thing I really like.
See,
and the live wells. Live wells are my favorite part about that boat. They're awesome.
Well, what is so good about a Bass Cat's live well?
They're deep. Like, if you catch a 14-incher in the wintertime and you box him, you better get a net to get that guy out so you're not reaching your hand all the way down there.
Oh, really? So they're
They'll
that
go
big?
down past your elbow trying to reach in the live well.
Really?
Yeah.
Ken, you have deep live wells?
I do.
He does. So they got deep live wells. Is that Farmer in the background? No, that's Ken Pruitt back there. So Jonathan Farmer's your cousin?
He is
For this show. All right, there. So, all right, Lee Strickland, what's up, guys? So anyway, all right. Now, tell me a little bit, Tony, how you doing, buddy? So tell me a little bit about, before we get into the actual specific techniques and stuff, high school fishing in general. We discussed it on this show lots of times. Some good, some bad. It has its ups and downs and a lot of opinions on it. In your mind, what is the good thing about high school bass fishing?
You build a family just with all your other fishermen traveling around to all these different lakes. You get to know people really well, and you just build a real close community with them. Like, I can't tell you how many friends I've made over the course of fishing high school for 2 years.
Yeah, I can believe it. Now, do rivalries exist between schools?
I don't think it's as much of a school thing, but I mean, I know when I'm fishing against my buddies, like I want to beat them.
Oh, for sure.
So as much as I'm pulling for them, like I want to beat them. I don't want to lose.
Well, that sounds like the pros we had on that one night.
Nobody wants to lose.
Nobody wants to lose, but it's always better when you have a friend or something.
He tells them all the time, y'all are fishing for second.
Y'all are fishing. Is that what you tell them?
Yeah, I hope y'all get second today.
You hope you get second. Hey, nothing wrong with that. I like your confidence with that. So, one of the, and I want to get your opinion on this. One of the big complaints we've heard in high school fishing is lack of decorum, not knowing the unwritten rules of fishing with young anglers and even with the boat captains. Maybe from your point of view, we're old adults. We hear all the stories, but from somebody that's in it, what's your take on that? Fair or not fair?
It's fair. I mean,
it is fair.
Yeah. The unwritten rules, I mean, there's a lot of guys that don't know them where they'll cut you off if you're going down the bank on a shallow water fishery. They'll just go right in front of you, cut you off. But there's a good bit of guys that'll be, hey, man, is it okay if I cut in front of you here? And
right.
That kind of stuff.
Yeah. So have you experienced that yourself?
I haven't had anybody cut me off real bad. No.
Right.
I've had it a few times, but with my dad and everything, he tries to keep me cool.
He does?
Yeah.
So how about pressure? Is there pressure in high school?
Oh, yeah. I mean,
how do you keep from spinning out? That's what we call when I call it quicksand. You get stuck in quicksand, you can't move, and you start trying harder and harder. A lot of guys call it spinning out. So with you
notice you're fishing too fast or whatever, I just try and grab something to drink, a bite to eat, just cool down
just
for 5
chill
minutes.
A little bit.
Yep. And get my head back in the game before I'm just making pointless casts.
Okay. What about you, Kevin? I'm going to ask that because now.
Do I spin out? Heck yeah, I spin out.
You spin out?
Yes, sir.
Well,
I do.
He just said he eats and stuff, sits down. What do you do?
I fished the other night for 4 hours. We started at 6. Tournament didn't start till 7. And we came in off the lake probably about midnight, and I drank half a bottle of Gatorade. That's it. I don't stop to eat. I need to drink more, I know. But I'm just all fishing. So I do.
You're all business.
I just enjoy it.
Yeah.
And do I make bad decisions? Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
I try to figure it out on the fly as I'm going.
Right. But have you ever just spun out? Just breaking rods, spinning out. I'm terrible. Those kind of things.
I've never I've slammed one against the bow, and I've never done that. I did it in front of my grandson 2 weeks ago because we missed a big fish.
Yeah.
That's the only time I've ever slammed a rod down, ever.
I got you. So, well, how about you? Broken any rods? Said words you shouldn't say?
Not broken on rods on purpose for sure. I've definitely said a few words here and there that shouldn't have come out of my mouth, but
that's okay. You're amongst friends.
Yeah, I've never broke a rod on purpose, and I mean I'll get spun out, but I try and never stop fishing. When I eat and drink, I do it on the fly when I'm running different spots. And it's nice in high school when you have the boat captain, so you don't have to worry about driving. You can just shove food in your mouth and shove some water down, Gatorade down, whatever.
Yeah. Is your dad your boat captain?
He was this past season.
Uh-huh.
He was able to make – he works a lot on the road, so he was able to make 3 out of 5
That's
of
good.
the events.
That's good.
And
any more pressure added, though, when your dad's in the boat?
No.
Okay, so he helps you a little bit?
I mean, not really.
Not helps as in telling you, but I'm talking about as far as mentally.
Mentally, I've learned a lot from him, just to stay in the game and everything. So he's helped me a lot out there.
He helps keep you calm too, doesn't he?
Yeah. So let's see. Oh, so Wyatt and Kobe Goforth. We mentioned them the other day when you were in the shop. So Gimpy, is that your nickname?
Yeah, Gimpy's a nickname.
Why?
I got a gimp when I walk.
I didn't notice.
Yeah.
You got a gimp? Okay, well, there you go.
I do.
Kevin's got a gimp too, but it is what it is. It's
mine's age.
Age, that's right. Did you get extra ranch? So do you eat a lot of ranch, huh? This is actually good because now we got you smiling and laughing. You're easing it up a little bit.
I can't go into context on that. That was last night.
Oh.
When Colby was asking, did you get extra ranch? I can't go into much context there.
That's an after the show conversation.
That's an after the show conversation.
There we go. I like them the best right there. So, tell me a little bit about the lakes you fished last year. Just because, like I said, we said you were part of the 2024 Georgia High School Bass Nation Anglers of the Year. So just for context, for people that don't know, what are some of the lakes you fished?
So we started the season out on Clarks Hill. That was in September. Super fun lake.
Mm-hmm.
We ended up getting second place there. And after that, in October, we drove down to Oconee, which, I mean, that lake's different for sure. It's a lot of shallow water fishing. You got that water willow starting to grow. You got the docks. So it's versatile. You can go out and scope fish offshore. It's just a lot smaller fish than when you get up shallow.
Right.
And so that was fun. And then we had Seminole in February, which you got a love-hate relationship with that place. You can catch big ones there.
Right.
It's just that they don't seem to show up on tournament day.
They never do.
And
At least not for me anyway.
Me neither.
Yeah.
Boat just got back from the shop from being in a month and a half. So thanks to Brandon and the guys at Bait Shack for getting that done. But I put a hole in my motor when I was at Seminole, hit a stump running through the creek channel.
Ah, there
He
you
got
go.
out of the channel.
Yeah, he wasn't in the channel, was he? So
I was.
really, so it was in the channel.
It was in the channel.
Sure, you was, kid. Sure, you. But seriously, I'm gonna get to that question right here in a second. So, all right, so Seminole, and then
March we had Lanier.
yeah,
We won Lanier.
yeah.
And then finished the season out at Eufaula, or not finished the regular season out at Eufaula, and then we ran up to Chautauqua for the state championship in June.
So good mixture of spotted bass lakes and largemouth lakes. So you fish Oconee a lot.
I do.
Yeah. So I mean,
I'm shallow, just like he's talking about.
yeah, you don't go
Gosh.
off and scope anything deep there.
No.
Okay.
I'll
So
be at Oconee in September for the BFL.
for the BFL,
The BFL.
we're gonna do that because then we're getting,
Phoenix.
Yes, sir.
yeah, getting that. So DGP Bass 3. What's your strength and your weaknesses? I think that's what it says.
Definitely strength would definitely be offshore fishing.
Mm-hmm.
Just, I'm more comfortable getting offshore, being able to look at the fish I'm catching, whether it's with a drop shot, the Miki rig, any of those forward facing sonar style techniques.
Right.
And the weakness is definitely power fishing up shallow.
Okay.
I can do it, and I do it when we go to places. It's just something I need to get better at.
So you just don't like it as much.
I don't like it as much.
You don't like. So you would consider yourself a finesse guy.
For sure.
For sure. Okay. Well, there you go. So, all right. What is something that specifically in your weakness area, fishing shallow, that you think you need to work on first?
Heavy cover grass fishing, like
Heavy cover
matted
grass.
and everything.
Yeah.
Like frog fishing, punching. Just
Right.
because I haven't got much experience in doing it, so that'd definitely be
Yeah. Oh, I can
my
see that
number
for
one
sure.
weakness.
Because that ain't on Lanier.
No, sir.
Would you consider Lanier your home lake, your favorite lake? Yeah, I think I don't blame you there. Trey G wants to know, how is the offshore dock bite? How's the offshore dock bite?
That's just some bull. But
Yeah. I think y'all got a lot of stories or something we gotta get out of you, little sayings.
we got a few.
So offshore, how did that come up?
The offshore dock bite. I think I asked him how he was catching them one day. And he's like, offshore docks.
Offshore dock
And-
bite, right there.
And every
So
time he asked me, that's what I tell him, offshore docks.
do you realize that if we had a serious conversation about offshore dock bites, somebody watching the show would go look for offshore docks? You know they would. They would be looking for. Man, I looked all over for that offshore dock. Tim, do you offshore dock fish back there?
Oh, all the time.
All the time. So there you go. For those of you who don't know, we got Tim in his own little kind of semi-studio back there in the back. Not because he's in trouble, but
No.
just, we wanted to give him a better. He's got a lot more to work with now.
There's a lot more stuff that Josh has put in up here.
So
That's
there's
for
like
sure.
7 cameras with like 8 different opportunities right there. So Trey's giving you the laughy faces and all that. Okay, so your strengths is the sonar game.
Sonar game for sure.
Okay, so let's start talking the sonar game. How long have you had it?
I've had it for about 2 years now. When we got the boat, it came on the boat. We had it. So for about 2 years, I've been in the game, and I was using it before that.
Mm-hmm.
Just wasn't on my boat.
Right. Okay. So what are some of the things, the learning curves that you had to learn when, once you got it? Like, okay, I'm not used to this. I'm not used to that. Give me a couple examples.
Fish identification would definitely be a big one.
How do you identify a fish?
Just like, and it's different on every lake. Like Lanier, you don't have many trash fish.
Right.
You got your bass and you got your striper that you see the most. And the striper are easier to tell because you can normally see that big tail separation in them
Mm-hmm.
on your live scope. But when you start going to lakes like Eufaula, and I know I got a bunch of buddies up on Chickamauga right now, and they all said that like so much trash fish, it's hard to even tell.
There's a bunch of trash
And
fish.
honestly, the easiest way to is
You
there's
laughing back there? Yeah. So I kind of figured there is a ton of trash fish in
Yeah.
Chickamauga.
Yeah. And there's no easy
Big
way
old
to do it.
drum.
It's just like time on the water is the most important. Time staring at that screen is how you figure it out. Really.
Okay. Well, I mean, that makes perfect sense. Now, you ever ate drum?
I have not.
If you ever go to Chickamauga and catch a drum, do not eat it.
Do not.
Do not eat it. It'll put hair on your chest. I'll say that. All right. So, which brand of live scope do you use?
I run Garmin.
You run the Garmin's. Have you run any of the other ones? Have been on? I mean,
I've
what's your
been-
opinions on the differences?
I think Garmin's definitely the best forward-facing sonar brand you can get.
Mm-hmm.
I've been on boats that have a lower active target. I feel like the image just isn't as clear as Garmin is, and I've never used Humminbird Mega Live before.
Yeah. Well, you've probably made the right choice in what you're doing. Now, let's talk about your approach. Just say you're out fun fishing Lanier tomorrow. Okay, you're a scoper. What are you hitting first? Are you hitting humps? You hitting brush piles? What does Reed look for when he gets on the water?
Just because I've been out there the past few days, so I kind of have an idea on what's going on. Those fish there's still a bunch of fish on brush, but your bigger fish are starting to move with that hot water coming in. They're starting to move out to that deeper water.
Right.
So, I mean, I'd look for points that have a river channel that swing close by them, humps that have the river channel swing close by them, and I'm fishing like 20 foot deeper than I would a month ago.
Really?
Yeah.
You still ever try top water though early? Like if you
Oh,
were doing
yeah.
it, is that what you start off with? Like when you get on the water, do you always, I'm gonna throw my top water first and see?
I don't.
You don't, because that's kind of power fishing. A little bit.
I'll throw a top water if they're set up right for it, but I never go to Lanier and just throw a top water on the bank anymore.
Okay, so you just said if they're set up right for it.
If they're set up over
What? Yeah, what's the proper for top water?
I mean, if they're anywhere from 5 to 10 foot under the surface, you can call them up pretty good. Those spotted bass are always looking up, chasing the herring.
Right.
So they'll see it from a good bit away.
So you go up, you scope your spot, they're suspended, top water.
Top water, fluke. I mean,
Something up, upper water
something
column.
in the higher water column for sure.
Okay. All right. So let's get back down to your, you mentioned earlier your drop shots and stuff like that. So let's say they're not set up, they're down on the brush. What are you going after with them first?
If they're this time of year, if they're on the brush and they're not wanting to come up, I mean, I'll throw a flutter spoon on them.
Flutter spoon.
Flutter spoon for sure. The 3 or 4 inch Georgia blade flutter spoon.
Did you notice the size that he said in the spoon right
Some
there?
good juice.
It is good juice because a lot of guys make the mistake of grabbing the 5s and the 6s.
5-6 inch.
And your buddy's gonna ask 100 questions in that, ain't it? That's all right. Hey, we like it. We appreciate it, Trey G. So seriously though, 3 or 4 inch flutter spoon. How'd you come up with that size?
Just from trial and error.
Trial and error.
Like that 6 inch flutter spoon is big on Lanier, the 5 inch, and just from seeing how they react to it, it's almost like because that herring, when it dies, it's got a little bend in the tail, a little bit, just like that spoon where it goes like that.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think that size just matches the bait fish perfectly.
I've noticed a lot of guys downsizing a lot of baits this year. I don't know. Is that the same on Alatoona?
Oh yeah,
Well, you have to downsize anyway because it's Alatoona.
that's correct. Thank you.
So let me ask you this. So like if you go over there with a 4 inch flutter spoon,
I'm not throwing a spoon on tuna
why not?
because I don't throw spoons. I'm not forward facing sonar.
That's
I'm
right.
a
You're
bank
bank
beater.
beater. He's a bank beater. You two need to get together because since that's your
Okay.
weakness, apparently that's your strength.
I power fish.
He's
yeah.
a power fish. Yeah, you do like
Let's
that.
do it.
All right. So flutter spoon you start off with.
If they're set up good where they're on top of the brush, but they're just not coming up, and if they don't, I move. Like I run and gun. I'm not on a brush pile for more than 5 minutes.
Yeah. How many spots would you hit in a typical tournament day?
Typical tournament day, brush pile fishing, run and gun, 100, 120.
My gosh.
I mean, I'll make 1 or 2 casts on a pile, and if they don't come, I go.
Okay. All right. So
You shut the motor off?
Yeah.
yeah. Why'd you ask that question? Because you ain't there that long.
No, I'm figuring there's 5 minutes per brush pile probably or less. That's 12 in an hour,
Yeah.
and 8 hours is 96. So he's having to crank.
Okay,
A lot and
So
run.
probably,
So
probably
you-
80 to 100 then.
Yeah, but still, no. I mean that. But
That's a lot.
it's still a lot.
Yeah.
But when we talk to Emil and all those younger guys, all these young guys are running gun.
I might hit 8-9 spots in a day. because I'm fishing bank.
So you're beating the bank, but you're fishing thorough.
Where I think they're going to be or at, that's where I'm fishing.
All right, that makes sense to me. All right, now let me ask you this though. Let's say you pull up on a brush pile, drop your thing, you're looking at it, you scan it. What would make you say, nah, I'm not gonna mess with that?
If the fish are just down on the bottom where they don't look like they want to come up, or if they're just not there.
Well, not there, I get totally, yeah.
I mean, if they're not there on a pile, I don't cast.
You don't cast. You just pick it up and go.
Pick it up and go.
Oh, that makes sense. So wearing that starter out on that motor, Tony G says right there. Well, I mean that
For sure.
Well, he's not the first one to say that you've had on the show.
Oh no, a lot of them say that.
A lot of them 100 or better a day.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And I think that's definitely a scoping game.
Yeah.
You know, the scopers are like that. And I do not have a negative opinion on that. Now, I will. Let me ask you this. I see it all over social media. You get all these old farts. Not you. I'm just kidding. The old fart was you, but not you. You didn't do this. But you ever like block it and all them really down in the younger generation. All they know how to do is scope. That's the only way they can catch fish. See it in the comment sections all the time. When you hear stuff like that, what do you think about?
I don't agree with it. I mean, your young kids are going to be able to scope, but your young kids that are doing good scoping, most of them are going to be able to go to a shallow water lake and do good.
Yeah.
Whether it's skipping jigs on docks, throwing a spinnerbait in the grass, throwing a buzzbait, whatever it is, those kids are good fishermen. They're not just scopers.
Does it tick you off any though? I mean, seriously,
yeah.
It's got to make you mad a little bit because that's basically saying you don't know what you're doing. Without that live scope, you can't fish. You wouldn't be where you're at.
I don't listen to the guys that say that because I know it's not true.
Yeah.
I know I can go shallow and catch fish.
Yeah, I believe you.
And I don't listen to the guys that say that.
But at the same time, do you think that's a generational thing that's mostly older guys?
For sure.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't see the younger guys complaining about it.
Because you all are good at it. You all are good at it. Did you grow up playing video games?
Not much, actually. I played
wondering.
some, but not much.
Josh, thanks for the hats. They look great. Well, I appreciate you buying them, buddy. Thank you very much. Michael Temples. Let's say Paul Conan. Pull up Paul there. Got to get him back to the show. Actually, hey, Tim.
Yes,
little
sir.
program note, since we've actually got the thing pulled up small out here, I can't read the question once you pop that blue thing on there.
Oh.
So how about you read that comment from Paul?
It says Brock Turner was 3 cast and blast before it was cool.
That's right. 3 cast
3
and
and
blast
gone.
like that. Yeah. So it just seems to be the way it's going on. Now, Michael Temples wants to know, do you like fishing the newer brush piles or the older ones better?
Newer pile every day of the week.
Newer pile. Now, how new is new?
I mean, new to me is like 2 months.
Okay.
2 months and newer.
Yeah.
I mean, you get guys that are dropping piles every week, especially during the summertime. Like, you'll find so many new piles during the summer more than you will in any other months, just because that's when people are getting out and doing it.
Yeah, because that sucks doing it in the wintertime when it's cold.
You can tell on your live scope when a pile's new.
How?
You can see how bushy it is. You can still see the leaves that are just making the brush pop more.
Yeah, that makes sense. What do you think it is about the newer piles? Just attracting the smaller bait fish and all? Just
new territory for the fish, new habitat. Really.
Yeah. Now, do you yourself do brush piles?
I do.
That's okay. You can admit it because everybody admits it. Yeah.
I do.
He got you see
The newer piles
he's like,
with the leaves and all will bring in the bait fish, won't they?
It's got to bring in your smaller ones, yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. But did you catch that though? When I said, "Do you do that?" He goes, "I do." Like he didn't want to. Everybody does it. Yeah. Trust me, everybody does it.
And I'll fish them.
And yeah, we'll fish them once we find them.
Within 20 feet of water.
Huh? Under 20 foot?
Yeah.
All right, let me ask you, what's the shallowest brush pile you ever laid out?
Probably 18 foot.
18 foot's about the shallow. Yeah.
Probably 5 feet, 6 feet.
You put a brush pile out in 5 feet?
Well, yeah.
I'm not doubting you.
Yeah.
I'm not doubting you.
Well, I find them too in that shallow water too. But when they drop tuna now, they're going to be 17 feet down. So you're going to have to drop them in 25 feet. 30
for the
feet of
wintertime
water.
bite
Yeah.
and all that. That makes sense. But let me ask you this, and then I'm gonna ask Reed this question. How soon after you drop a brush pile will you go back and fish it?
Next week.
Give it about a week.
Yeah.
Okay. How about you?
2 days.
2 days. And the fish are relating to it in 2 days.
On Lanier piles I've dropped, you can go back to a pile 2 days later and catch fish.
Ain't that something? 2 days. Now, have you ever, now listen, we've heard these stories about guys dropping piles and then getting mad when other people come up and fish. When you drop a pile, do you really understand that, okay, you drop it in the public body of water, it's going to get fished?
nothing's a secret anymore. No matter how sneaky of a spot you put your pile in,
Yeah.
everybody's got forward facing sonar, everybody's got side scan. Your pile's going to get found. That's just not something you can complain about.
Yeah. Have you ever heard the stories of guys that will take ropes and hooks and actually drag somebody's brush pile off the spot?
I've had it happen to me multiple times.
Really? Really? You know who did it?
I do.
Okay. Well, how'd that make you feel? You don't have to shout
I'm
anybody out.
not going to say any
You don't
names.
have to. You don't have
They
to say
do
no
that at
names. But
Tuna a lot.
how does that make you feel?
I mean, I don't really care at the end of the day, but like it's a public body of water, like you said. Everybody's gonna find your piles. It's not a secret for only you to know.
Yeah.
Like, your stuff's gonna get found.
But
You're
but
fishing other people's brush piles.
you are. But why would you be the person that gets mad because somebody dropped a brush pile there? Why don't you just fish it instead of pulling it off the spot? That's some kind of.
I didn't say I'd do that.
No, but I'm just saying. What goes through? What do you think goes through somebody's mind that does that? You know what I'm saying? Like, how mad?
They're
could
just trying to get an advantage. They're trying to have a brush pile. But he's right. Anybody with forward facing or side scan is going to find them.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter where you move it to, they're going to find it. And if he had a brush pile dropped and he'd go looking for it, he knows it's going to be close by because you can't drag those things very far.
Yeah, I get it. So Michael Temple says live scope changed the game about hiding brush piles for sure. And Joshua Gold says promotes algae growth due to the surface area. So that's a good reason as far as doing that. Which one, Dwayne?
Yep.
I've dropped him on Altoona, catch a fish a couple hours later.
That's crazy. I don't doubt it.
That it is crazy. You don't think about it that way. So
Yeah, no. I've always dropped them at night, so
Mhm.
I've never gone back to check that night if they're on it or not.
but I mean, if they hit it that quick, how great would it be? What are you laughing at?
Why are you dropping them at night?
Not get caught.
Okay.
You know what though? That's one of those things where the game wardens, they know people do it.
I know it.
Why? I mean, they know, and I realize why they're not supposed to do it, but good Lord, everybody does it. I mean, it's going to rot in there
They
anyway.
run
So,
up on the bank and cut one down and tie a cinder block to it. and they
well,
pull out.
that's a little bit different if you're cutting down trees and all that. But if, like, say you bring your own brush from
I
home,
might cut down a sweet gum or something like that.
this whole crap tree,
Yep.
something that ain't worth it. Trey wants you to let's talk about
Look,
this. Let's talk about Trey for a second. What's that?
You're getting to it.
Oh yeah, the axe. Tell him about his axe skills. So this Trey dude, good friend.
Yeah,
He
we're
was.
good buddies.
Well, good friend. So he's definitely a commenter. But what about his axe skills?
Chainsaw always seems to die at some point of the night because we bring an electric chainsaw.
Oh yeah.
So we have a backup axe that he always has to swing.
How does he swing it? Does he swing it like a girl, or can he swing it?
He can swing.
He can swing it. All right. So if you ever need a tree chop down the old-fashioned way, we'll get Trey's number and we'll put it out there and everybody can call him like that. What's your preferred? I can't believe we're talking brush piles now, but what's your preferred type of wood?
Oak.
Oak. See, he answered that quick. Why oak?
Stands up more. It's like bigger, more
Yeah.
surface area in the water than a pine.
It doesn't have any pine cones on it too,
Pine cones.
because they catch your bait.
Oh, okay. I got what you're
Big
saying.
time.
I got what you're saying. All right. So if you could pass a law to allow brush piles, but with some restrictions, what would that law be? I'm making you think,
That's a
young
good
man. I'm
question.
making you're allowed, but there's got to be a couple of restrictions. What would you restrict?
I think from what I've heard, the main reason that it's not allowed is that they're worried about people getting caught on them swimming. So I'd probably say you got to sink them in a certain depth or deeper. That's just what I've heard the reasons why.
It's navigation.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. So you got to guarantee 20 foot below you can drop them. That would something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
That's actually a pretty good answer. Connor Hewitt, what's up, Trey? They call you Trey?
No.
Oh, he's talking about G. They're having their own conversation in
I
there.
guess they are.
Look at there. So they dropped a 14-pound bag on tuna, and we need to get T-Ray back before he goes to Florida. Any hardwood, red oak is the best, Joshua says. So there you go.
Yeah.
I never really actually thought about what would make it. What would you drop, David? Oak? Y'all oak?
Yeah, the pine seems to get the texture of it. You hang up.
Okay, so the texture of the pine.
leaves on an oak will stay a lot longer than the pine on a pine tree too.
Okay, that makes
It's
sense.
not just the pine cones on a pine tree either. It's also the bark That
Yeah,
line is sliding
That's
underneath.
like what he's saying, the texture and all that.
That's
So
fine,
acorns draw them big. So yeah, so you got to feed the fish the acorns down there. So I don't know with Connor if he's ever. You have to look at the comments, and if it's a question for you, you let me know like that. So I don't know if they're still having their own conversation. South Lanier, Mid Lake, North
South of 369, Browns Bridge. all the way.
Browns Bridge all the way.
I know. I barely ever fish above Browns Bridge.
Why is that?
Bigger fish down south.
You know, I hear people say that all the time. So are we talking down towards the dam or just still up kind of closer to that?
I like running all the way down to the dam. That's kind of my home on Lanier.
Yeah.
Like that flowery branch south. But I mean, I fish all below Browns Bridge.
Well, what makes the Flowery Branch area so good?
Just flowery branch and south. I mean, and I don't know why. I don't know if it's the herring that are down there, if they're bigger. The bigger fish always seem to hang down south there.
So if you're running a tournament there tomorrow, that's where you're headed. Say you're going out of Little Hall,
Going out a little haul. I'm
You wanna-
definitely starting below the bridge.
starting below the bridge. Okay, that makes sense. Guy Williams, get some minnows and you'll catch big ones up yonder. Hey, listen, Guy, I totally believe that. Minnows catch him everywhere. So Lane Parker, Reed fishes above Little Hall. And I know that's not true. But now Lane's up there and he's on Chick this week, right?
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, so I actually watched a little bit of your live this morning on TikTok right before you guys blasted off. So I hope you had a good day. Dan Parker, is this Lane's dad?
It is.
All right, well, Mr. Parker, how you doing there, sir? They fish down south because they like scoping. My boy is the same, and Reed knows. So
He's right.
I know guys do scope up north, but it does seem tournament bags and knowing the guys that fish, they're going south, except in the spring.
If you want to take somebody out and go catch fish, take them above the bridge to that Little Hall area, and you can go catch numbers. And you can catch a ton of numbers up above 369.
But if you want to win a tournament,
it'll be south of the bridge.
South of the bridge. So I mean, that's what's up, Alex Furs. He must be on the lake right now while he's listening to us. Let's get back on the brush pile thing, because you start off, if they set up a certain way, you're going to go with the flutter spoon.
Yeah.
Okay. Give me some other options other than the flutter spoon. Let's say you throw it second. That's not working, and you're going to spend some time on a brush pile instead of running and going.
Okay.
Let's make it that way.
I mean, if you really need to slow down, you can always catch them on a drop shot this time of year in the brush if you really need to, or you can throw a Demiki rig down there. And
Which would you prefer?
A Demiki.
A Demiki.
I don't like throwing a drop shot on the Lanier when I don't have to.
Right.
So I'd choose Demiki.
You choose Demiki.
Sure.
What's your rod setup on your Demiki?
I run a 7.2 to a 7.4.
Yeah.
Spinning rod with a Stratic or a Vanford on it.
Okay. What kind of braid do you use? I'm assuming you go and braid to a fluoro leader.
Yeah, I run 10-pound X8 braid to either a 6 or an 8-pound Tatsu leader.
So you like that Tatsu?
I love Tatsu. I'm convinced there's no better leader line out on the market.
It's expensive.
It's expensive,
but it's worth it.
It's worth it. I can't tell you how many hooks I've bent out throwing 8-pound Tatsu.
Really? Because a lot of guys hear 8 and especially even 6-pound, and they're like, boy, that is really light. But it seems like the people that do fish the Tatsu really like it.
Oh, yeah.
What makes it so much better other than strength?
It's got a slim diameter too.
Yeah.
And I mean, I haven't had any problems with it.
What knot do you tie your braid to leader?
I tie a double uni.
Double uni. Okay,
Yes,
well, there you go. Let's see. How many casts do you throw before you leave them? Connor Hewitt wants to know on the brush.
Definitely depends on time of year, but I mean,
Now. Let's talk about right now.
If I make one cast on the brush and all the fish come up and react and they don't bite, I might make one more before I leave them.
All right, Cooper McDonald wants to know, does the gimp make it easier to shake the Demiki? Huh?
It helps a little.
It helps a little bit. Cooper, yeah, he's a good dude. Let's see. Josh wants to know what knot, and I think you said double uni. Why double uni?
That's just what I learned. That's how I grew up doing it. And
Yeah.
It's strong.
Oh, no, there's no doubt about it. What knot do you use?
Alberta.
The Alberto. That's what I throw. Dan Parker laughed my ass off. So evidently we're going to learn about this gimp a little bit more. So I didn't realize, you didn't tell me. You didn't tell me that was your nickname.
It's about
the
the
other day.
worldwide nickname now.
Gimpy?
Gimpy.
Okay, well, that's what I'm going to put you in my phone as, Gimpy. So I didn't know that. Now, is it okay to bring up?
Yeah.
Next year? Okay, so all right, yeah. So just while we've got them on there. So
That's
next year you're going to be fishing
with Lane Parker.
with Lane Parker.
Yes, sir.
And so what will you be fishing? Will it still be Georgia?
We'll be fishing the Georgia Bass Nation together.
Yeah.
And Jesse Millsaps ran a circuit
Yep.
the past few years, and somebody took it over, so we'll be fishing that too.
So you'll be doing the Sunday tournaments
Sunday
out there like that.
tournaments,
So, Dan, how did Lane and the guys do today? It'd be nice to have kind of update. It's just the nickname all the high school boys gave him. It's endearing. So there you go, Gimpy. I like it. We'll just go with that. So I like the Alberto. How long of a leader do you use?
About 14 to 20 foot.
I use a long leader too, but a lot of guys think I'm crazy for using
And
that long.
I'll shorten it up on a Demiki rig sometimes, just because you do get more action when you run a shorter leader on the Demiki. But if I throw anything else with a leader, like worm wise, I'd normally run like a 14-foot leader, where it's about 2 or 3 cranks into my spool.
I like that. How long is your leader?
About 6 to 8 feet. Do you do that though simply because you don't want to have to retie leader back to your braid again, or?
I think he probably does it just so he gets it on his reel quicker.
No, I
when they guessed that, I was wrong.
I do run the high vis braid, so I think the longer leader does make a little bit of a difference just in sight and everything.
So you like the yellow?
I do.
What?
Yellow.
Yellow, I do too.
Yeah.
And
Are you doing that for an ear though, or what about when you go to like Seminole or something like that? Or
when I go to Seminole or stuff like that, I mean, I might just put normal green braid on, but I do like being able to see my line under the water, especially like skipping docks. Just
I love it.
Yeah.
Being able to see under the dock. So I normally keep the straight yellow on.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you said you use X8?
I do use that X8.
X8. What do you use?
see, I use Power Pro.
See, the only thing about Power Pro is don't you notice that it kind of
Well,
yellow
XPS
comes
has
off?
come back out. That's what I used to use was the XPS because it worked fine for me and it throws well. And I have gone to cast, but they don't make a yellow, and it does cast better.
Does that cast braid not?
It casts.
Have you had any of that?
I haven't, but I've been wanting to try
Let
it.
me tell you,
Dude,
he was telling me about it, and that stuff is phenomenal for casting.
it is.
They just need to make a yellow.
They need to make. I'll put an order in for us for yellow.
Okay.
I got some pulling really, but I know
About this
Ryan.
damn much.
But I know it ain't much. You haven't messed with the cast braid.
I haven't. I've been on. I know Lane Parker. He uses it. I've used his. It casts good.
Oh, it's stupid. It is stupid. So, mind sharing your favorite Demiki head and the minnow you put behind it.
Favorite Demiki head's a queen tackle, a tungsten jig head queen tackle, and favorite minnow is definitely like a Z-Man Streaks or Strike King 0Z2.
Okay. So let me ask you this. With that tungsten head, do you find that it does show up better on forward facing?
It does.
It's not just hype. It really does.
It does.
You get a better return.
Density.
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense. Some guys, they don't believe in, there's so much marketing now, so much marketing hype in the fishing industry that you really, you got to kind of wade through what's real and what's not. So Josh wants his longer so I can swing them and the knots on the reel. He likes pink 832. Hey, listen, pink's your thing, man. Like, all for you like that. So, Shannon, how did you like fishing in New York?
It was awesome. We went about up to New York for about 9-10 days round trip. Got to fish for a week up on the St. Lawrence River in Lake Ontario in
Tough
July.
Tough life.
And that place is unreal.
Well, tell me about it.
I know. I mean, you can go catch them in the river. We started in the river day one, and we had a good bag in the river, like 22 pounds, I think, almost 23.
All smallmouth?
All smallmouth.
Is
We
that
caught-
not crazy?
We caught a few
It is.
largemouth when we were up there in the grass, but we mainly stayed offshore. And you go run down to the lake, and that's where you catch your bigger bags. We only had like 3 days to get down there due to weather windows and how rough it gets.
It gets rough,
But
yeah.
To the days we went down to the lake, we had 25 and a half and 26-14, almost 27 pounds of all smallmouth down
All
there.
smallmouth. Like, there are guys that don't catch largemouth sacks that big, and that's all
no.
smallmouth.
Yeah, no, it was unreal. It was my first ever trip up there, and I can't wait to go back.
You hooked?
I'm hooked.
You hooked.
Demiki or drop shot?
Both Demiki and drop shot. Drop shot caught more than Demiki, but Demiki did play.
Okay, what colors?
We were throwing the natural shad hitworm. and
Yeah,
green-
okay.
Not hitworm, but flatworm. I'm sorry.
Flatworm.
The natural shad flatworm, green pumpkin flatworm, and goby.
So I heard that flatworm is definitely a smallmouth killer. Like it really just the size and the shape and everything on it's perfect.
I'm not sure what it was about it, but we were throwing a 3.6
Yeah.
flatworm on a 3/8 ounce weight.
And it's just nailing it. Well, compare. So what was the biggest smallmouth you caught?
512.
512. So compare a 512 smallmouth to a 5-pound spotted bass.
They fight so much harder.
The smallmouth do.
They don't give up. Even when you get them in your hands, they're still going.
Really?
I mean, those spotted bass, they'll fight, but when you get them up to the boat, they start giving up. Those smallmouth, they never give up.
That's awesome. We need to make that trip. Would you pay for it?
No, but I'll go with you.
Okay, that's what I figured. Scott Barnes, Reed and Lane are a great team. Let's see. There you go. I got a feeling that we're going to see a lot of these young anglers be at the top of the leaderboard at our tournaments. Truly feel the same old names will do good, but these young guns will be the new teams to beat. Scott, listen, I agree with you. And I was telling some of the guys up here when I said that I was bringing on a high school angler, and they're like, why? I'm like, make friends with them now. Make friends with them now before they get big, and they'll remember you. First, Kaz Anderson, the first time he was on my podcast, he was 16. And so, we got a great relationship. Hit a meal and all them before they're fishing the elites and all that. Got to get them while they're young. So,
Yes,
this is brownie points. We're trying to, when you get big, you got to remember us.
yes, sir.
You understand that? So there you go. Have you been on a podcast before?
No, sir.
This is your first, right there. So, all right. You always remember your first.
I will.
Or unless you, Kevin. How many decades ago was that?
I remember my first.
Just got home from the war.
No, I walked in here and he says, "You're on tonight."
Oh yeah, I was what I was talking about, but I do. Yeah, Kevin walked in and I said, and Tim too.
Yeah.
I think both of it. If you come in here often enough, you might just be on the show all the time. That's what we do. Richard the Lion, the dude doesn't know that a Coosa River spot fights harder than a smallmouth. Well, I don't know. I'm telling you. So in your experience, the smallmouth.
And my experience is smallmouth, yeah.
But now a Coosa, now Lanier is not Coosa, is it?
No.
It's what? Okay, what is it?
Yeah, they're Coosa strain.
Are they Coosa strain?
It's the same spot.
I think it's the same spot. They just live in that current.
Yeah.
Well, okay, I'll give you the current.
I
Yeah,
can get, but I mean, the St. Lawrence River fish, I mean, you got current where if your boat's not on spot like you're drifting at 1 to 2 mile an hour in the river.
so you had the current up
So
there.
the current's there.
Current's there. So I tell you what, when they compare the three, largemouth always gets the worst rap about being lazy in a fight. They come up, they do their few head shakes, and then it's always the spot versus the largemouth. So Robert Alexander Green says Laniers are Kentucky's, not Coosas. I just know that I've always heard there was a couple of different ones, but I don't know. I can't keep up with all of it. So, but I do know. I tell you what, Henry Cowan. Y'all know Henry?
No.
So he's like world famous fly fisherman. He does the fly fishing guided trips on Lanier for stripers. He said in the podcast that I did with him that if you took a 5-pound Lake Lanier spot and tied it to a 5-pound Allatoona spot, the Allatoona spot would drag it all over the lake. And that's been back 3 or 4 years ago when I did it. And that's just Henry. I'm not saying that's the case, but Henry did make that statement.
The tuna spots fight pretty hard, but it's been years since I was on Lanier, so I couldn't make that type of analogy for sure.
But in your opinion, smallmouth fight harder than spots.
They do.
Okay, there you go. Listen, that's all that matters is what you think right now. Hog Wild, that's because all largemouth like to do is be lazy and flop around. Yeah, but I really would like to hook one about 12 or 13 pounds and let it flop on me a little bit.
Largemouth are the heartbreakers when they come up and they waller and just spit it.
I like I
Those
said
are
that.
the
When
heartbreakers.
how long you been in Dawson County?
I've been in Dawson County for, I think, 4 years now.
Where was you born?
I was born in Arizona.
Arizona.
Yes, sir.
But the way he said Waller right there was as Dawson County
South.
as you get. How long did you live in Arizona?
Till I was 10.
Yeah?
Yes, sir.
Arizona's hot.
It's hot, but it's not humid like it is here.
That's true. That's like Montana. So Robert Alexander Green says Coosa's fight harder than Kentucky's. That's, I couldn't tell the difference if I saw one. I'm no fish biologist, but a smallmouth over a spot in a fight. And when is the temperature going to drop 30 degrees? I wished it was tomorrow.
Yeah.
I am so tired of the summertime heat. How many questions? Let's see. Kevin,
Yes.
I know you got a big, long question, but when we do the load light, we're going to give it away.
Okay.
But let's give away a hat.
Okay.
Off the top of your head, in that little thingy, you got a question that we can do to give away a hat?
I do.
So I tell you what, right now we're going to give away a True Grit tackle. Would you hand me one of those True Grit tackle hats back there? And just grab me a Fish North Georgia one as well. We're going to give away a couple hats tonight. And we're going to do that. That load light is around here somewhere. I'm going to pull it back out. I don't know exactly what we did with it. So right now, Kevin's going to have a question for this True Grit tackle hat. And so it will be this one. And this is, of course, the jigs that I tie. And you can get them here at Fish North Georgia, fngo.com. And so this is our jig brand.
You're not doing the light too with it?
No, we're going to do 3 different giveaways tonight: a hat, the light, and then we'll space them out a little bit.
You want the question spaced out?
Yeah,
I can do that.
Yeah, so just this, and I want a question right now for the True Grit tackle hat.
All right, this is an easy one because you got it.
Well, damn, Kevin.
All right, first let me apologize for last week.
Yeah.
I told you guys that the answer was in Bassmaster magazine. It was not. It was in FLW magazine. So I do apologize.
Boo.
But you still didn't get it.
You still didn't get it.
I don't know where Clint was, or Clint would have got it. All right, tonight's question for the hat. Danny said to throw y'all a curveball, so I did. Who has the most no-hitters and how many in Major League Baseball?
The most no-hitters and how many in Major League Baseball? The guy's a stud. That's all I can tell you right there. So the first person with both correct answers, the name and the number of no-hitters.
And Danny had it.
I did get it on the first one.
You did.
Let's go. I am not. I'm a baseball aficionado. I just didn't get the last one. So that's for the True Grit tackle hat.
You didn't get the next 3.
I have
Let's
been
be honest.
All right, so there you go. Tony Collum, the how-to hero. Nolan Ryan, the
7.
stud, with 7. So that's part 1 of all these questions tonight. So Tony, you probably done it before, but make sure you text me, message me on Facebook your address again. I want to make sure I got it. You guys, Elijah and Philip, when we do the next question, there's going to be several parts of it. So that's why Tony got it. It's Nolan Ryan, but you also had to have the number of no-hitters. So it was a 2-part kind of right there. So Tony, appreciate you watching. And give me that email. So we'll give it about 10 minutes and we'll do part 2 of that.
All right.
He used AI. Listen, they all do. I know Clint Bartlett does. He said he's done it before. So hey, whatever works, whatever gets you this hat. Dang, my name was first. Did we miss it?
Yeah, I thought I saw it.
Michael Temples?
Yeah.
Oh, hell, Michael, I'll give you a hat too. All right, so there you go. You got to watch out for me, man. I get it wrong a lot of times. So, but anyway, okay. So I want to stick on this Deepwater finesse game. And you said tungsten. Tungsten was a, shows up better. Your girlfriend just walked in?
She did.
What's her name again?
Nevaeh.
You outpunted your coverage, dude. I told you that the other day.
You told me that the other day.
I told you that the other day. It's like, are you sure? Are you sure about him?
I'm sure.
Okay, all right, she's sure. So you must be doing something right, Gimp. Is it the Gimp?
Was that a question? The way she said it, I'm sure.
Well, it's like she's trying to I think so. I think so. No, very sweet like that. So, how long did you fish? I mean, what did you fish before tungsten? Like, what kind of heads? Or have you always fished tungsten?
For the most part, when I've done Damiki rig fishing, I've always fished the tungsten.
And why queen tackle?
I just like their round ball jig head and their line ties great on the queen tackle heads.
So does it come off at what angle? Is it a
90-degree angle?
90 degree?
Yeah.
Hook pretty good?
Great hook.
I know Ryan and the guys over at Cast,
Like queen
they
tackle.
love queen tackle right there. So Logan Parker right there, Gimpy. So is that what's his name? Oh, good grief. What's his dad's name?
Cody.
Cody. That's right. He fished the NPFL. I knew it was Nolan Ryan. Didn't know exactly how many 7 was a guess. Well, that's a good guess there. So I'll take.
He did good. Got him a hat.
He got a hat. So I will take care of that. Philip Hutchinson. Is that say Cumston? Kunston? Well, Philip, I don't know what kind of head you're throwing up there. The Kunston tongue glide. So that sounds like some kind of movies you watch.
We're not going to repeat that.
We're not going to.
No.
Well, I don't have my glasses on, guys. I'm just trying to
Be glad you can. I'll tell you what it says later.
From now on, listen, we need a dump button.
That was low.
Huh?
That was low. About what I watched.
I'm just playing with you. You know that.
Now, Danny Vapor
Because
Locks.
anything from North Carolina is great, except your pro sports team suck. I'm just kidding right there. So
No, you're not.
YouTube channel something. I'm not even gonna. I can't read it anyway. So
AVE.
AVE. I have a feeling there's something behind that I'm not supposed to say, or it's a channel like that. forgive us. We know you have nice little young ears and all that. So you grow up quick.
Trust me, I've heard it all.
That's what I tell everybody.
He's
People
a
like,
fisherman.
well, listen, you go to high
Yeah.
school today, you have heard worse by first period than we say in a month. So, okay, tungsten heads, queen tackle. Now, what was the bait you had on the back of it?
Z-Man Streaks or the Strike King Baby Zero Z2.
Okay, and so you named two. Which one would you use to start off with, or do you use one in a particular
I'm
situation?
be honest, they're like the same exact bait. They're both that Elastic bait, and they have all the same colors and everything.
So you just buy what's on sale. You do it that way.
Whatever I got.
Whatever you got on stock like that. Oh, Adam and Eve. Oh, I know. I got it. I get it now. We're a bunch of dirty old men watch this stuff. Excuse us.
What is that?
Adam and Eve.
It's a sex store.
Yeah, look at you. Listen to the 17-year-old. It's a sex store. How in the hell do you know that? Huh? Now, come on. How do you know that?
That's a good question. I don't know.
Huh?
I don't
You
know.
lie like a dog. Look at him turning
I
red.
get
right
whatever's
there.
on sale.
Tell them you saw it on the internet.
I got plenty of questions for you two after the show. So like that. I didn't even know that. I mean, I knew what Adam and Eve was, but I didn't know that. So there you go. Oh, Kevin's wife just showed up.
Oh, here you go.
You said you were going to be nice. Well, Miss Terry, I am so sorry that it's not me. It's the company I keep. It's the guys around me that cause the worst of me to come out. Name of you
in the audience. No.
in the audience.
She knows I've been good.
She doesn't know what happens when you get up here, though.
No, not for the most part. She does.
We're gonna keep that a secret too, because my wife might be watching this as well. I promise you, we do good. Arduino versus Evil is the channel. It's an engineering. I can't with Intendre. Philip, listen, Philip, huh?
Entendre.
Entendre? Is that French? Is it French? I'm being very serious. No. Listen, Tim, I feel like I'm lost right now. I mean, I can't even pronounce that. That sounds like one of the skiers at the Olympics or something like that. I don't know. Entendre. Do you know what that is, Kevin?
I have no clue.
Good. It ain't just
nor
me.
do I
I'm
wanna
okay.
know.
I don't know either. All right. It's been a few. You ready to give away that load light? Huh? Oh, you
No, you got to do the other hat.
Let me. Oh, is it a picture? Oh, my glasses. Listen, I got my glasses. I was just trying not to wear them today. So let me put on okay.
How's the world look now?
Let me put on my Hobie glasses.
Hobie.
The Hobie. So, guys, if you're in the market for some absolutely awesome, affordable eyewear, especially in sunglasses, get the Hobie eyewear. So these are like prescription, and I got like 6 or 7 lenses that just pop on it at any time. It's magnetic, so I can go for any water situation. Or if I'm walking in a crowd with a lot of good-looking women, you can't see my eyes.
There you go.
Is that how you learned about that kind of stuff? Look at him smiling right there. So, all right. So you got your other part of the question?
You got to do the hat first.
Oh, we're going to give away another hat first. Oh, because the last one's the hardest.
The last two questions.
All right. So right here, black Fish North Georgia patch hat. Again, you can, Terry, I promise you, I'm not trying to get him in trouble. I'm just joking. He is a very fine man when he's up there and a positive influence on all of us. So we'll go with that. Now, as we get some cackling from the back.
Cue the disclaimer.
That's a disclaimer. And Kevin's opinions are not those of Fish North Georgia and or its affiliates.
There we go.
So there you go. But anyways, this is a Fish North Georgia patch out again. If you don't win it, you can buy it. Go to fngo.com and order, or you can come into the show. So I'm going to find that load light while you're reading off this question.
Okay.
All right.
Question 2 for the hat. Who has the most one-hitters and how many?
Say it again.
I'll read it again for Danny. Who has the most one-hitters and how many?
My guess would be Snoop Dogg.
You're close.
All right. So how many one-hit games has this guy pitched and how many? Right? He's the
No.
most one-hitters. Did I
No.
say that wrong?
Yes, you did.
Say it again.
Who has the most one-hitters and how many? Don't say a word.
Ain't that what I said, though?
No, don't say a
Is that the right answer?
no.
Okay, so that's not it, Tony. So keep trying. Do you even know what we're talking about right here? You like baseball?
I don't watch much baseball.
I wouldn't let you come on if you didn't like baseball. You really don't like baseball?
I don't watch it. I mean, I'll root for the Braves, but
Okay, I saw you. You're cool.
but
You're cool. Oh,
I don't watch
oh. What about Paul?
No.
But you're close. Oh, it's 2 answers.
Yes.
Okay, so
Oh, it's
That's why I
actually a
said
question.
don't say.
there's 2 answers to that question. And some of you guys are pretty darn close. So keep going while I open up this load light right here. Cristiano, no. That's not. Do you know the answer to this?
Eddie
I
Downs.
Eddie Downs got it. Nolan Ryan and Bob Feller both tied with 12. So there you go. So Eddie Downs, message me on Facebook and make sure at Danny Pruitt and make sure I've got your address and I'll get this thing shipped out tomorrow. Now, last week we tried to give away this, and this is what I still think is the neatest thing, the most simple, practical thing I've ever seen at ICAST, which is really ICAST is really turned kind of garbage because it's the PR thing. I think it stifles the small guy. So
Based on the best lures.
based on the best lure,
Who votes for him?
who votes for them?
Correct.
Because the big companies can really stack the deck. Small guys like these guys at Load Light, they're trying to get in the market and they really get overlooked because they may not have the funds to send out mass email campaigns, all that kind of stuff. But this is a Load Light. We talked about it last week. So what this is, it's a device to alert the guy back in the boat in and the boater to where the trailer is at the perfect position
For loading and unloading.
for
your
loading
boat.
and unloading. Now you have one
I do.
and you put it to use.
I have not. I haven't had anybody help me back it in first so I can put
So
it
you
on.
get it. So what you do
But
is
I will be doing it.
you back your boat. Have you ever seen one of these?
I have not.
It ain't come out on the market yet. So like if you win this, you're one of a few people in the world that actually own one right now. What it is you back your trailer down and find that sweet spot to where you can load it perfectly every time. And it's a float switch. And so the water raises this float switch with it, and it alerts the person backing the boat down and then the boater to when it's ready. And so what happens is I'm going to flip it over. It's got an LED light right there. And it's really bright and it shines both ways. So definitely a practical thing. And to me, just something simple. It's machined. It's got a photo cell right here. So there's no wiring whatsoever. It is really an awesome product. And the guy is super nice. So this is when it comes to market, this is about $150. Ain't that's what he
But
said.
it was.
$150 right here. And you can be one of the few people in this world that actually own it right now from us here at Fish North Georgia. And they're actually going to send me a few for the shop, and we're going to put it out there. So here's the question to get the load.
No
light.
more hollering back.
No more.
Pull
It will
forward.
save marriages because we all know, women can't back down trailers and everything. I'm just kidding. I said that for you. But it will save marriages.
Hey, mine backed it into a single car garage on her own. First time she ever tried.
Really, that's impressive.
Yeah. I was impressed.
I was impressed because I know other people that can't
First
do
time.
that. First time. Well, there you go. All right. So go ahead and give us this last question.
All right. This last question has 2 answers. There's 2 questions, 2 answers total.
They're never getting it.
What pitcher walked over 50% more hitters than any other pitcher in Major League Baseball history? That's question 1. Question 2 is who has thrown back-to-back no-hitters?
All right. So what pitcher has thrown 50% more or has walked 50% more than the next guy? He's the most.
Right.
And then what pitcher threw back-to-back no-hitters?
Correct.
So there you go. So that's for the load light right there, guys. So if you can figure that out, I would love to ship you this thing and let you try it out before anybody else gets it on the market. So it's a really cool product. And again, anytime you can support a smaller company, these are the guys you want to support. So I think this is actually going to be a pretty big product once it comes out. It was all we talked about when we were down there at ICAST right beside that guy.
Great for guys that fish at night.
Great for guys that fish at night. So while they're looking for the answer, let's go ahead. David Stout, keep going. You guys keep going. You watching
I'm
answers?
watching.
All right. So how old were you when you really started fishing a lot?
I mean, from when I can remember, I started fishing when I was in diapers. Just
Diapers. So
when I remember fishing in diapers, but when I really started tournament fishing, I think I was about 14.
Okay. And where did you start tournament fishing at?
Just high school.
Just high school.
Yep.
So you started in high school. That's
I
when
did
your
start in
tournament
high school,
stuff.
yep.
Did you start off as a boater or like was it your boat? Did you have your
It
dad
was my
take you?
partner's
Your
boat
partner's
at
boat. Okay.
first, and then we got our boat before our first season was over. for
Okay.
high school. So we started running that.
So around here, Lanier or
Lanier, and I mean, we were still traveling all around Georgia for all
Okay.
those tournaments.
and that was that with Dawson?
That was with Dawson.
That was with Dawson. Go Tigers right there. Do you fish in Arizona? Did you fish in Arizona?
I grew up. I know my dad, he used to fish all the professional FLWs and everything out there.
Your dad did?
Yeah.
What's your dad's name?
Mike
Rooke.
Rooke. Yes, sir.
Rooke. Mike Rooke.
So,
Okay.
I remember, and I fished Lake Havasu in
Okay.
Arizona.
Have you had a chance to go back out there and never fish again? So that was just when you were young?
That was just when I was younger.
When you was young. Do you remember the first, your first big fish?
I think it was off a dock, if
Karsten
I remember
Miller.
right. Like,
Karsten got it?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So where's his answer right there?
Vandermeer and Nolan Ryan.
Vandermeer threw back-to-back no-hitters, and Nolan Ryan, while striking out the entire world, walked 50% more people than the next pitcher. And that's what happens when you pitch for 47 years. So you got some of you guys were really close, but Karsten Miller, that seems to be the first one. I want to make sure. So there you go. So Karsten, we're going to send you the load light. And what I need you to do, because you're watching on YouTube, I don't know if you're on Facebook, but if you are, look up Danny Pruitt, send me a message. Or if you can't, you can type in Fish North Georgia and send it there. Give me your address. And where do any of you guys know Karsten? You never know if you know anybody. Where are you from, Karsten? So appreciate all you guys playing. I told Kevin we had to change it up. And so he went with baseball, and that's my favorite sport. So I appreciate that as well. What
was that movie you like, baseball movie?
Bull Durham.
That Johnny Vandermeer played for Cincinnati, but in the farm team, he played for the Durham Bulls.
That's because it is the best. It is the best baseball movie right there. We need to go watch a game there. You ever been there?
To where?
Bull Durham, but where they play Durham Bulls.
No.
I think it'd be pretty cool. We'll do that. Buford, Karsten, appreciate it. So Adam W. Fishing, we've answered this, but I also want to ask one more time. What brand braid did you say you use? Looking for some that is colored yellow also.
the X8 braid.
Now, did you try any other companies before that?
Yeah, I've used the Cigar braid, which I like, and I used Power Pro for a little bit, which I just got a lot of wind knots with Power Pro.
Mm-hmm.
It was good limp line.
I've noticed that.
But I've got a lot of wind knots with it.
Yeah.
With that X8 braid, I rarely get wind knots, and it's a pretty slim diameter braid, so you can cast it far.
There you go. So, yeah. What braid? You said you used Power Pro.
I use Power Pro because
before the cast, before you get your hands on some cast.
Well, I still like the yellow, but I'm telling you that Bass Pro Shops XPS, they just came back, they discontinued it.
Right.
But they just came back out with it again, and I love that stuff.
What braid? What do you use? X braid. What about you?
Sunline is SX1.
Sunline. I was just curious. Everybody's got their own favorite brands and stuff like that. Do you know the difference between the X4 and the X8?
I don't.
All right, now you guys can correct me, but Welcher put out a video that the 4-strand X4 is better for grass lakes and throwing in the thick stuff because that braid cuts through the grass a lot easier.
Okay.
And the 8 is better for casting. Am I correct in that?
You're correct in the way you said it.
Right there. So Brad Thornton, cast. I'm trying to tell you, cast is the best I throw. Is that Berkeley? The X? No, that is
not.
Is
It's
that
Daiwa.
Daiwa?
It's
That's
Daiwa.
Daiwa braid. It is really good braid. We got some of it here at the shop, so you can always come up and see me and get some of it there. So, but yeah, I thought that was pretty interesting that the 4-strand is a little bit different, and even in the shape of it, which you can kind of tell, but it cuts. It cuts. So you go down to some of them lakes down there, you might want to consider. Well, you like going offshore anyway because you're not beating the bank too much unless you just have to.
Yeah.
If you had to beat the bank tomorrow on Lake Lanier, what are you throwing?
I'd go start out early and just wind a buzzbait around, or I'd go fish a popper on some brim beds in the back of a creek or something.
So you're going for the largemouth early like that?
I wouldn't beat the bank looking for spots. I'd just go largemouth fishing and swing for the fence.
Okay, so buzzbait, what color?
White, or just a white, like translucent.
You like
kinda
the white shad
Yeah,
colors
I
on
do.
that. Okay. The gore coating on Power Pro is awesome. I like the Cortland stuff a ton, super durable and functional. And a lot of people don't know that Cortland has entered into the bass market We actually have that here at the shop, and it's really good. I have it on one of my rods. I do throw it, and they got tons of experience from fly fishing and everything. And but they've actually had a lot of pros who may or may not be sponsored by other companies actually throw some of their Cortland braid and actually use it. So Josh Goat, I can't afford cast braid. It's expensive. It is. But sometimes you do get what you pay for. And I would say that the difference in the casting, it just kind of makes sense. Reed, have you started looking at a college program yet? Be sure to sign up for Logan Park's event this October to showcase your talents to all the colleges. So have you started looking at any colleges?
Yeah, I've started looking at colleges. I've talked with a few of them. I'm going to the Bassmaster Combine again this year. I went last year and made some really good connections with some colleges and everything. So going to go back this
They
year.
got a combine. It's like football.
never heard of that
everything.
before.
I didn't even know that existed.
Yeah, it's a real cool event. They take.
What do you do at the combine?
So you get there day one and you get to walk around and meet all your college coaches, and you get to pick what coaches you want to meet back with on day 3. And day 2, you have a skills event, which last year it was like the farthest cast you can make. There was a flipping competition from land. There was a boat navigation one where you had to flip into like little hoops in the water.
Right.
And then there was some smaller stuff like extra points, like tying a leader knot and tying a hook, just smaller stuff to gain you
How'd
points.
you do?
I did okay.
You did okay?
I did okay.
How many kids were at the combine?
About 100.
That's pretty cool. I didn't
How
know
fast
that.
you run the 40 though?
That's a good question.
He's got a gimp.
I got-
He's not running no 4.2, so that's neither would I. So, as a high school team, what is the process and pre-practice you both go through prior to a tournament? Do you all practice with or without your captain?
So I practiced. I don't know if I practiced with the captain at all this year. I can drive, so I always ran solo down to practice for the most part. If my dad could make it for practice, he'd come with us. And me and my partner last year, we each had a boat. So
Right.
he would take his boat, I'd take my boat. And I know Lane has his own boat, which we'll run. And I'll practice out of mine. He'll practice out of his just to cover more water.
Okay, so how about this though? Say you and Lane, since you're going to fish together this coming up season, going in before a tournament, as far as sharing information, because I mean you definitely got to, because it's a team thing.
Yeah,
it's a team thing.
Can't hide nothing.
You can't hide nothing. Do you let's say this? Do you go out and you'll try one technique, and will he try something totally different? Just you're trying to figure out what they're on, or will you throw the similar things?
No, for sure. I mean, especially if we're on a very versatile lake, like I know in Eufaula, or in October we're running up to Eufaula, and Eufaula in October can be very versatile. You can go catch fish up shallow, you can go catch fish offshore there.
Right.
So I'm sure when we go to that lake, one of us will go up shallow, one of us will go offshore, just experiment different things.
Yeah. So is Lane a power fisherman, or is he a finesse guy? Because his dad said he likes to scope too.
Lane's a finesse guy.
So okay. So how do you figure out which one of you guys are going to go try to beat the bank? You draw straws or what?
I'll beat the bank.
You'll beat the bank if you got to.
I don't mind it as much, for sure. If he wants to, he can, but
Right.
it's just something we talk about beforehand.
Have you two sat down and looked at the schedule for next year and kind of figured out, okay, we should be able to do this on this lake, kind of pre-planning as far as mentally for the lakes you're going to fish?
A little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, we're pretty confident in the lakes that we're going to. We got a good schedule this year, which I know they go to Hartwell, they go to Lanier.
Yeah.
Championships on Clarks Hill, which will be fun.
You like Clarks Hill?
I love Clarks Hill.
Finished second there last year, right?
Yeah. So it's a pretty cool. I need to get somebody. I tell you what, we've never done an episode on Clarks Hill. Not a lot of guys around here talk about Clarks Hill. They fish it every once in a while. But I think I got to contact JT Pryor out there who fishes it a lot. We're going to get him on here. He's the one that is hooking me up with Hank Parker.
Okay.
So that would be a pretty cool lake, because it's one of those lakes that's just far enough away from us. It's still kind of a mystery to most of our audience.
Yeah.
Like that. What is it about Clarks Hill that you like so much?
It's very diverse. I mean, it's still a lot of that scope and offshore brush piles. There's just more largemouth mixed in.
Oh, okay. Now, what's the predominant bait fish over there?
Herring.
So it's a herring
It's
lake.
still a herring lake.
So what was that lake the elites went to?
They went to Murray,
Murray.
and that was all largemouth, straight herring,
That was like one of the craziest things I've watched.
smash fest.
Those largemouth schooling like that, and it was.
Smash fest, yeah.
I mean, unbelievable like that. So that would be more of a Clarks Hill, or is it Will you get that, or they
And
mix kind of together?
Clarksville, it's a mix. I know when we got second, we had a mix. The guys who won, they had 20 pounds, all largemouth.
Really?
So yeah.
Now, did you catch the largemouth out deep since y'all like to scope with the spots, or did you catch
brush pile fishing? Yeah,
brush pile fishing? So you had a good
Largemouth,
mix.
Yep.
Ain't that something? So they're starting to catch a lot of largemouth deep on Lake Lanier.
There's definitely some being caught.
Yeah.
I know I've caught a few randomly fishing for spots this summer
Right, where you didn't expect them to be,
where I didn't expect them.
and that was on the south end of the lake. I assume
It was.
it was. So that's what that's pretty cool. The how about this? So, how do you determine who's on the front and who's on the back of the boat in a high school thing? Is it
No, we both fish on the front.
both? Are you both right there side by
Both
side,
right there side by side.
both staring down at the scope? I understand.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so what were you catching the largemouth on, Carson?
At Clarks Hill, Vision 110 Junior jerkbait.
Okay, what about Lanier? Can you give up that juice? Or you can give me the general. You're on a brush pile.
Just a subsurface bait.
Subsurface bait. There you go. So that's enough. Subsurface, right there. Hey,
Gee,
listen.
what could that be?
I wonder, but see, listen. I tell the guys come up here like we don't burn spots, and if there's something you got to hold on to, you can hold on to that.
This summer, me and Lane were together, and he lost one of the bigger largemouth I've seen on Lanier. I mean, we had it right at the boat, and he lost
off
it.
a brush pile.
It wasn't off a brush pile.
Oh,
but it was still scoping.
Okay, well, there you go. So you just kind of have to figure that out. I got buddies, and I had one in the shop here today. He fishes the same color worm, and to this day will not tell me the color worm he fishes with. I have tried and tried to get it out of him. He's just and the thing about it is I know the brand, but he will not tell me. And this worm, apparently somebody at the dugout got a big shipment of them in there, and he knows about a guy that went down there and bought all of them just so nobody else could fish with that color worm. Bought them out.
What brand?
Yamamoto. So anyway, so I got to figure it out. We'll do some detective work on you like that. You can tell me after the show. I promise I won't tell nobody. So you and Lane going into next year, and I want you to be honest. If he had to say what is one of your weaknesses, what do you think he would say?
If he had to say one of
your weaknesses, what would he say?
He'd say shallow fishing.
Shallow fishing. Yeah. If you had to say what was one of his weaknesses,
I'd probably say the same thing.
Shallow fishing. So you guys are going to be on the scope game, and that's it. That you can go if you need to go shallow.
We'll go if we need to go shallow, and we'll be able to catch them if we need to go shallow. I can promise you that. But
I like that confidence. I like that.
But yeah, no, we're definitely going to be aiming for the scope game.
Let's see. Oh, so Dwayne Rogers has got him a friend right there. She's very impressed with your profile and personality. I don't usually write in the comments section, but I think you deserve such a compliment. I don't want to send you a request without your consent, violating your privacy. If you don't mind, please add me as a friend. I got a feeling Vivian right there ain't Vivian. That's probably Tom from India. What do you think? Send pics first, Vivian. Let's check you out first, and then we'll see if he needs to. We'd like some pics in the comment section.
She sent 2 messages.
She sent 2.
She wanted to get that point across.
Prayer and happy faces. So,
yeah.
Vivian, if that is your real name, anyway, just watch that. Watch Vivian there, Tim. You never know what she might do. She might be releasing nukes in North Korea or something for all we know.
No joke.
Dwayne Rogers. We'll have to see if everyone approves of that right there. Oh, she sent it again. Dwayne, you got a follower right here. You can thank the guys at Fish North Georgia, and if your Facebook account gets hacked, it ain't my fault right there. But I can tell you, I've had it hacked before, and it is a process to get it back right there. So, what are you doing? You checking out Vivian's?
I'm gonna find out.
You gonna find her? Let's get her on the pod, Danny. Yeah, Vivian, where you from there, hun? We'll see. Vivian comes in. It's probably like that boxer that was in the Olympics last night. Where's Vivian?
Second one.
She ain't pics.
She's going for Philip now.
Philip Kim Allen. She's very impressed with you. How about we do this, Tim? You know how to block somebody?
We're about to find out.
Yeah, let's block old Vivian because she ain't sending pics and she's messing with all our followers right there. So, it's been about 1.5 years, 2 years ago. It was all of a sudden we got inundated with porn. We did. It was in the comments. So that's probably before
you. Facebook.
Well, I don't care. She's a lonely woman. She needs to get out some. She ain't picking up nobody on my show. We're a family-friendly show. We don't do that kind of stuff here.
Just because they got a Facebook doesn't mean that they're real.
Oh, right. Yeah. She's probably somebody in the basement. Well, we ain't going to deal with Vivian anymore. So sorry about that. But always fun like that. What is the one bait that if you could fish with for the rest of your life and it's all you get, what is the one bait Reed is going to be throwing? You can only choose one. Don't worry about the color, the actual bait. Yeah, think about that.
Probably a drop shot, honestly.
Honestly, a drop shot.
I mean, as much as I hate to say it, you can go anywhere at any time of the year, like any fishery in the country, any time of the year, and catch fish on drop shot.
I agree with that. Now let me ask you what color.
Natural.
Natural. That's a good. This kid's gonna be good. What would you do, Kevin?
It'd have to be a drop shot. I agree with him. We've talked about this before.
Yeah.
Yes.
My memory's terrible, but drop shot.
Yeah. Because you can catch him any time of the year. He's right.
Taught my son the drop shot. So there you go. So did he teach you how to throw the drop shot?
And you
He
did
did
shallow
not
water
teach me how
too.
to throw a drop shot.
Oh,
Ooh, that's a good one. Bill Lewis, rattle trap, or a jig. That's a good answer. What about you, Tim, back yonder in your office?
let me find my camera here.
Find your camera. Hey, see, the thing about Tim is that normally he's had 4 buttons, and now he's got 8 back
If you
there.
guys could see the Disneyland I'm in back here,
It's something else.
I would drop shot. That's what I was using this morning, testing out that art reel.
What did you think about that arc reel? Now, it was, which model was it? Spin reel,
It's the Gravity 5.
Gravity
Yeah,
5.
2500 series.
So Paul Benson, who represents ARC around here, dropped that off at the shop and asked us to fish it. And since I own a tackle store, I don't fish because I'm always here selling stuff for you guys to fish with. So Tim got to actually take it out. We gave it to Tim. Just give me a quick little review on that ARC reel.
It's very smooth. It casts great. Had no quarrels with it at all. It's a real quality product. The drag's very smooth. It didn't. It wasn't herky jerky.
You liked it though.
I absolutely.
Would you go
loved
out
it.
and buy one?
Absolutely. The price point's great on it.
What's it, about 130, 140 right in there?
Somewhere along there. We need
Yeah.
we need to get them in here to go with our art rods. That's
We
for
need
sure.
to do that. So in here in a few weeks, Louis, and I forget his last name, but he is one of the owners, if not the owner of ARC. And he's going to be doing a little tour of ARC dealerships in Georgia. And he's going to stop by. They're trying to schedule it for a Thursday. And he's going to come on and we're going to talk about the art of rods and then the baits that they're getting into and everything. So what's your favorite brand of rod?
I just switched over this year to Chaotic Custom Rods. And
Oh,
for the most part, I really like them.
you like them? Where are they out of?
South Carolina.
South Carolina. What got you involved with them?
I know the guy who owns them.
You know a guy.
I know,
I know a guy. Yeah.
yeah, he's Jason Williamson. He's a great guy.
So does he make them to your custom? Like, do you tell him like, hey, I want a rod that does this, and he designs it for you? Or
He's starting to work on a longer spinning rod to throw the flukes on, like that 7.6 spinning rod.
yeah,
He's starting to design that, and he's starting to design a 7.5 bait caster for those herring style baits, where there's that big top water, or it's that sweet bait type deal.
yeah. You ever throw the sweet baits, anything like that?
I love a sweet bait.
You love a
When
sweet
the
bait.
wind picks up on an air and they're on top of the brush good, I'll throw it.
You'll throw a sweet bait. Now, did you
Sure.
buy it with your own money?
First one the first one was gifted to me.
Right.
I have not, and I kept that one so far. I have not had to buy one with my own money.
There you go. Listen, that's not. Hey, it doesn't matter how you get it as long as you get it right.
It can be willed to you.
It can be willed.
They're
It can't.
expensive.
They're expensive, but they're nice.
Yeah.
They're nice. They're a good
They're
bait.
worth it.
All right. Well, let me ask you this. Give me a recommendation on a budget-friendly bait similar to a sweet bait.
Sashimi. A sashimi or a sabile. I mean,
You like the sashimi?
I do.
Would you pick a sabile or a sashimi?
I'd probably pick a sashimi unless I have one of them, and I try not to throw it unless it's a tournament day.
Right.
But the OG sabiles.
Oh, of course. Of course.
I'll pick that over a sashimi.
Yeah.
But if I'm just out fun fishing and I didn't want to throw the sweet bait, I'd throw a sashimi probably.
Throw
over
sashimi.
sabile.
The only drawback that I've heard about the sashimi is the weight. It doesn't cast quite as far as a sabile. Have you found that to be true?
A little bit. I mean, maybe a 10-foot difference, honestly.
Yeah.
So it's not a big deal.
But
for
it's
me.
got great action.
I feel like it has better action than a sabile. It's got a wider tail
Yeah.
movement.
And it's a 4-joint or 3-joint. It's got like one extra joint.
It's a 3-joint.
3 joints. So it's got one more than a sabile. Interested in your guys in the comment section. If you only could have one bait for the rest of your life, Color doesn't matter, but you only get to throw this. What you guys would actually fish with. So we've got answers. I said drop shot. Y'all use technique. So, but a drop shot. Now, how about this? Let's get specific on that drop shot. More of a what size, what length worm, or would it be something different? What would you rig something else on it?
I normally throw a robo worm
Worm,
on my drop shots.
4 or 6 inch, or the
It
4.5.
depends on the fishery, to be honest, and just how it's going. I like the 6 inch normally on like a 1/0 rebarb.
You nose hook them.
I normally don't.
You normally so you Texas rig it a little bit.
Yeah, I throw that 1/0. Robo worm makes it that rebarb hook.
Rebarb hook. Okay, what? Trey G, Morning Dawn 4.5. Josh, get the big sweet bait or a junior?
Junior sweet bait all day.
So what's the difference in size?
The big sweet bait's big. Like it's probably that big.
Oh, I got what you're saying. So
the juniors.
Junior's more like a 125 Seville, right in that
like,
size.
Yep.
So Tony would throw a jig. So, all right, Tony, what color jig though? What color jig? What about you, Tim? On your drop shot, you only get one bait to throw on it. What are you throwing?
Probably a green pumpkin dinger.
A green pumpkin dinger.
I was throwing it wacky this morning and it was working, catching largemouth.
Ooh, there you go. What about you, Kevin?
I'm torn. I go between the Morning Dawn if I'm going to throw a robo and a 4-inch lizard zoom
On a drop shot.
on a drop shot.
Yeah, the only color, black and blue. So there you go.
Now, if I was catching spots, I'd probably go with Killer Dawn or
Killer
Morning
Dawn.
somewhere along in there. Yeah, but largemouth, probably gonna go back to the
Have
green.
you ever, based on what Tim just said right there, I know a few people that do it, drop shot with a wacky worm. Have you ever done that?
I've never tried it. No.
Do you throw the wacky worm?
I'll throw a wacky rig or an eco rig.
Okay.
Docks.
Yeah.
I'm like, I understand him. He's like, what am I supposed to say? No, I'm just messing with you.
I probably throw it open water more than I do docks. I throw the Nico rig a lot. At certain times of the year.
Morning sunrise 6-inch on a drop shot. So yeah. I tell you what, like the weightless wacky is my favorite. 100%
Yeah, I mean,
it's my
it's
favorite.
a staple for sure in the fishing world.
Yeah, so I like that. One bait you can't stand. Like, what is the worst bait of all time in your mind?
Oh,
Or if you see somebody throwing it while you're fishing, you're like, I can't.
A-rig.
A-rig. Yeah, why is that?
Not a fan.
Just not a fan, and why?
I catch about everything but a fish on a rig.
Yeah, I agree with that. What about you?
You know, I never thought about that, but probably the A-rig. He's right. I've caught one fish on an A-rig, and I've probably got 6 different A-rigs.
Yeah,
I've caught fish on them, but it's a pain in the ass to throw.
Oh, it'll wear you out.
It will.
You need an 8-foot rod and a big reel.
You do. What about you, Tim?
Yeah, I'm with you guys. That A-rig thing.
It's funny. Every one of you guys had the same exact answer. Like no variety whatsoever. Gosh, I hate an A-rig. I'll agree 100%.
I was just thinking about what you said because you love the wacky, and you've told everybody that for weeks.
Months, years, everything. Yeah.
You wouldn't make more than 8 or 9 stops in a tournament day.
No, I wouldn't. So, like, I throw a weightless wacky everywhere I go.
In 40 feet of water.
40 feet of water over a brush pile. Chunk that thing down and just let it sink. But if you're scoping it, you can watch that thing go down. I mean, you can watch them. Sometimes you don't have to wait. They'll come get it.
That's why you put the drop shot weight below it so it'll get on
Listen,
down there.
Listen, I'm a patient man. I can do that. There's no problem with it. And I'm telling you, if you get that monster shad color from Yamamoto, which I do have in the shop, that is the only color you need to throw on a spotted bass lake. I know nobody believes me, but that's absolutely that. Scoping a wacky in Florida is fire. Now, y'all fished Florida any last year?
We went onto the Florida side a little bit for Seminole.
Yeah.
But that lake's like half in Georgia, half in Florida.
Yep. Nothing like watching a couple of striper hit an A-rig. Typically, that's the last time you see it.
Right.
That is true. I mean, and listen, A-rig, that's an expensive bait.
It's not cheap.
Jig heads and all that. Yeah, you're losing $40-$50 at a time.
It's like buying a Durn Erector set or some sort of Tinker Toy kit. When you look at them in there, you got to buy all these gadgets put on it.
Have you ever seen the guys that put the chatterbaits? They got the monster A-rigs with like 5 chatterbaits and all that. Could you imagine the vibration in your arm or just throwing that thing as it is?
Well, so many tournaments have outlawed them now. Why throw it?
Huh?
There's so many tournaments where you can't throw an A-rig, so why even throw it anymore?
So Yeah, so in all your big ones, it's probably illegal.
Mm-hmm.
But the only thing I get on my A rig is rust, and that's absolutely. Is there a hook limit in Georgia on A rig? I don't think we
believe-
have one, do we? Or do we?
If we do, it's 5. Like,
Yeah, 5. Yeah.
if we do, but I don't think we do.
Now I know most of them outlaw it because of the number of hooks. But what about those dummy A rigs where you basically got 4 arms with just the bait, no hooks, and then 1 hook coming out the back? Would that be considered legal, or is it just because it's an A rig?
I would assume it'd be legal,
It'd be legal.
depending
think
on
it'd be
what
legal?
state you were in. Yeah.
All I know is when I throw those things, my line always gets like wrapped around an arm, and I get frustrated with
You
it.
can't throw it on a spinning rod.
I don't throw it on a spinning rod. I probably don't throw it on the right bait casting rod. Do you even own any bait casters?
I own a bunch.
You have a bunch?
I do have a bunch. I throw a bait caster a lot. I mean, for different techniques on linear and everything. It's not all spin pieces.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you this. So, what about the underspin game? You throw that a lot?
I do.
You do throw it?
This time of year, yeah.
You got a favorite?
A spot choker.
You like the spot choker? It runs true.
It does.
It does run true. I'll give him that. Shane's Baits has a 9 rig in North Carolina.
Boy.
9. There's no doubt I would figure out a way to mess that all up.
Why?
Why? Yeah, seriously, why? I catch fish on an A rig, but my arm is sore. I can't stand it. That's from hunter fishing, and I mean that's true.
Yeah,
that's absolutely true. So, all right. So A rig is that. Are you going to go pro at some point? You think you going to try it?
I'd love to try it. I know this year I'm going to fish all the BFLs for Bulldog.
As a boater.
I was able to fish 3 of them this year. I had to miss fall BFL because of a high school conflict.
Right.
And I'm hoping to hop into a few Toyotas this year if my schedule allows it.
That's pretty awesome, man. Josh says, I've won a ton of money on it. And I'm sure a lot of people have, for sure. I'm not going to say, it's kind of like that Chapo with me or a Whopper. You like Whopper ploppers?
I don't throw much.
Thank you. All right. I knew he had a little bit of class to him. I hate that bait. Catches fish, though, just like an A-rig. An A-rig catches fish.
For sure.
So were you a boater in these events that you fished already?
I was.
Did you get a co-angler?
I did.
And how was that experience?
It wasn't bad. Both my co-anglers were pretty good people.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So, I mean, did you tell them, hey, listen, I'm going to be scoping a lot, or?
I told them that the first BFL I fished, it was on Lanier.
Yeah.
It was my first ever BFL. I think I got 11th in that.
That's good. Out of how many boats?
100 something.
How'd your co-angler do?
He had 2 fish.
Josh, don't say that. I hate weightless wacky. I just sent you some good looking hats, but you did pay for them, so I guess that was fair.
Can you block him now?
No, we ain't blocking
Okay,
Josh.
no?
We
All right.
need to, though.
Tread lightly, buddy.
Listen,
You say that about
words-
Danny's wacky, and he'll whack you.
Yeah, the only one that talk bad about my wacky is my wife. So, Ken Pruitt, Danny likes 5 wacky rigs at once, so it gets to the brush pile faster. Hell, I don't know if it does. I guess it depends on what you use. 11th though in his first BFL. That's pretty good.
Alabama
11th in the second one too.
And you know what?
11th in the second one too on Lanier. I got that curse.
So listen though,
Couldn't
but
break the top 10.
have you sat back and thought, okay, I'm a 17-year-old kid. There's tons of experienced anglers out here, and I took 11th. It's got to make you
Pretty
proud
cool,
a little bit.
especially being 16 at the time.
And you were 16 at the time.
Yeah, I just turned
That
17
would
in May.
just piss me off as an old man. And you know what I'd be saying? These young kids with a scope.
Yep.
That's what they would be saying. Well, that's impressive. So, I mean, did you all your co-angler things were good? Because eventually, if you do this long enough, you're going to get a co-angler that's going to be kind of like,
Yeah, I know. The first one was awesome because he works for Georgia Bass Nation.
Okay, so that helped.
That was awesome to have him as a first co-angler. And then the other 2, they're just normal guys.
Did you have him in the BFL?
Did I have who in the BFL?
Co-anglers.
Yeah, I had.
Was these the guys you're talking about, or?
Yeah.
Okay, so you haven't had a bad experience.
I haven't had a bad
yet.
experience with co-angler.
It is coming though. You know that, right?
I'm sure it'll happen.
How would you handle it?
I mean, I don't want to sound rude, but I'm gonna tell him what's up. Like,
He got deep voiced right there all of a sudden. I like it. No, I mean,
I don't want to be rude, but if they're doing something I don't want them to, then I'm gonna let them know. I'm not just gonna.
Boater runs the front.
Boater runs front.
well, you kind of have to be that way. I mean, as long as you do it in the, like you said, not trying to be rude, but you can tell them once or twice, and then after that, it's I remember talking to some younger guys like Kaz, and the more you fish, you know, the percentages are just going to go up. Eventually, you're going to find,
You're gonna get a bad
Yeah.
co-angler.
and you're young. So what happens when you get the guy like me that's 52 and I've been fishing my entire life, son, and you don't know what you're doing? Well, how would you respond?
I just tell him I'm the boater here. You're the co-angler. You can suck it up. I mean,
I like it.
I'm not gonna sugarcoat it for him.
Well, I understand. That's the way to do it. If you had a dream, though, what is your ultimate dream in fishing?
Elites,
The elites.
for sure.
All right. And so, do you have in your mind? I've been reading a lot lately, especially like I'm not young now, but if you're young, to kind of set a plan of course of action. Like, I got to go. I want to be here at this age, here at that age. And what is your kind of plans?
So
If it all works out the way that you want
if it
to.
all works out this year, I'm gonna, hopefully fish a Toyota or two, fish all the BFLs, fish the high school stuff, and then I do plan on going to college and fishing.
Yeah.
Hopefully save up some money in the meantime and fish, local tournaments, maybe a team trail here and there.
Right.
And I would like to get in the opens at some point.
Yeah.
And give a run at it.
I think that's awesome. Let's see. Hey, do me a favor.
Yeah.
Let me address this. Roper. It's third time I've seen your comments. Okay.
Roper's cool. He's a good dude.
You like him?
I do like Roper.
Okay. So can I take that serious?
Yeah, you can talk.
Okay, because I'm just going to tell everybody when I see comments about that, I don't know how to take them sometimes. So as long as you're good with it.
I'm good with that.
Okay. I have to be, I have to protect my guests sometimes. So can you describe to us your best tips for bass boat driving then? What'd you do?
They like that I go fast.
They like that you go fast. Well, what is fast?
75 plus.
In your bass cat.
I probably shouldn't be saying this if Dad's watching, but
He's watching.
but yeah, I know me and Jack fished a Friday night or not too long ago, and I had that thing skimmed back.
Okay, all right. Well, the Roper, like I said, I seen you keep going with the speed thing, so I didn't know if like you broke a rule or something.
The speed thing he was talking about earlier was a speeding ticket.
Oh, you got a speeding ticket.
Super speeder.
Oh, what'd you get?
72 and a 45.
That ain't that bad. I mean, I've done worse. How about you? Didn't you tell me you
I've had 3 speeding tickets in 3 months, and that's the only 3 I've ever had.
And that was back when you were young.
Well, I was a lot younger.
You were a lot younger back there. So you wasn't in a school zone or nothing, was you?
No.
Okay. All right. Okay. So what's your best tips for driving a bass boat?
I hate to say this too, but it's time behind the wheel. It's like, honestly, for me, when I'm driving, whether it's at blast off or if I'm driving through rough water, like this is gonna sound weird, but I almost trying to be like one with the waves, where like you're trying to hit that crest at the perfect angle where you're not gonna go and spear that next wave,
Yeah.
or where your front's not gonna hit, because you want the back of the boat taking the route of the force. Like
He pulled out the Zen a little bit. I'm one with the waves right there. Slow down, young, and especially at night out there. So, rate your driving skills on a scale of 1 to 10. 10 being the best.
that'd be a question for her.
Rate his so, and I want you to be honest. 1 to 10. What's his bass boat driving skills? A 2.5. Yeah.
Bass boat driving skills.
Okay, so he knows what he's doing behind the boat. Well, you still
I can drive a boat.
you can drive a
I
boat.
can drive a boat.
Well, still, it doesn't matter how experienced you are. Even the most experienced people, you still use the old noodle right there. Was it in a horse and buggy?
It was.
No, that ain't you. That's the Kevin. Your
Oh.
speeding ticket was it in a horse and buggy?
Thank you, Josh.
And listen, I didn't say it this time.
I know it.
I read it, but I didn't say it.
Thank you, Josh.
Josh, like that.
No, it wasn't in a horse and buggy.
What was it in? You told me one time.
Firebird Trans Am.
A Firebird. Like, listen, Kevin has always been that guy that you probably always had the fastest car. One of those guys always driving in style and everything.
It wasn't the fastest, but it
It'd
turned
go.
some heads.
What year? What year was your Firebird?
77.
You had like the Smokey and the Bandit kind of
It was
edition.
brown. It wasn't black.
It was brown. Did you have the Screaming Eagle on the front or
I had
Firebird?
I had it.
You had it T-tops?
No, it wasn't T-top.
No T-tops?
Nope. Wasn't T-top.
You let me down right there. I figured you for a T-top guy.
Nope, wasn't T-top. Sorry.
Yeah. You ever been in a car with T-tops?
I have none.
See, they don't even know.
I know what a T-top
I
is.
know
now.
you do, but I'm saying guys his age have no idea what T-tops is all about. Back in the 80s, dude, 70s and 80s, T-tops was, I mean, that was good.
They
No
were
wonder he
leakers.
was going fast. I applaud you because it was your car.
Thank
Those
you.
those are sharp vehicles.
They were.
They're sharp. I like them. All right, guys. So we're getting hour and 40 in, getting a little closer. So if you got any questions or comments for this young guy, not a lot of you guys put down your best and worst baits. So like if you only had one bait you could fish with for the rest of your life. So if you want to throw it in there, I know a lot of you guys come in the shop and you say, "Hey, I watched the show," and I said, "Won't you comment?" And they're always T-tops leak. Yeah, I know, but they're still cool to look at. Hot Rod Dave.
They do leak.
They do
You're
leak,
right.
but it's okay. It's okay. They're the PDCs. All right, now I have to explain to you what PDC means later on. Can't say that in right now, but you have no idea what T-tops are. Danny is talking T-tops and making me think of Billy Madison when he goes back to high school. Hey, listen, it is the 80s were by far the best. What the hell was I asking you? Do you remember? You ain't got a clue, do
I
you?
don't remember.
How good a boat driver he was.
We talked about that.
That's what you'd asked him last.
I think that was what we talked about last.
Thank you.
It's that
You're
COVID I
welcome.
had, dude. I'm telling you, it's messed my brain up. My 1998 Camaro was a T-top. T-tops are good. I mean, I think they're awesome. All right, so your goal is to get to the elites one day.
It is eventually, yeah.
Have
That'd be
you
a
thought
dream.
about guiding or anything like that? I know a lot of you young guys like to get into the guiding, and have you thought about
Yeah,
it?
I mean, I'd love to guide. I mean, that'd be awesome. But there's already so many guides on the near.
It is getting
But, I
heavy out
mean,
there.
Might as well throw a name into a hat.
Yeah. Well, I always say this: if you're good enough, you'll get business.
Yeah.
And if
For
you're not
sure.
good, you won't get business. We've said that to some of you people out there before. So when you get married,
I'm not sure.
huh?
That's a good question.
Has he popped the ring on? Has he even talked about it yet? How long y'all been dating? It's confusing.
There we go.
We go. There's our rabbit hole, boys.
After the show conversation.
Al, I'm just playing with you. I don't really care. Y'all shouldn't get married no time soon. So please don't like that. That shit's expensive. So don't do that. All right. So you're gonna fish for Dawson County High though.
Yes, sir, I am.
And but Lane goes to Cherokee.
He does.
How does that work in high school fishing?
So he went to Cherokee.
He went to Cherokee.
He went to Cherokee.
So okay.
and
So now he's not.
There's a long story behind that.
Damn, there's a story behind anything.
Is he living with you now?
He got suspended, but and it was for a dumb reason. But
Okay.
he got suspended, so he's doing like a different school now that doesn't have a fishing team.
And then he can fish wherever he
so
wants
he can
to.
fish wherever he wants.
Well, there you go. So it all works out, right?
Because we love fishing together. We fun fish all the time together, so it'll be a good opportunity.
Okay, well there you go. I did not know that. So listen, like when you're old, you're out of the loop on all this
Yeah.
stuff like that. But I always feel like everything works out for a reason. So
yeah,
that might
sure.
be, you think about it. If that doesn't happen, y'all probably ain't fishing together.
probably not.
That's why you got to view it.
I already
right there.
said if I don't fish with him, I'm just gonna strictly do BFLs and that type of stuff.
So you like fishing with him that much?
I do.
That's good though. That's good. You got to do that. What about you when it comes to like somebody his age? You've been around, you fish for a lot. You hear his dreams, his aspirations, and all that. And I'm being very serious. Some real world advice for a young man coming up wanting to do that. Because I really like when you're around, I was like,
Get
I
a
was
good
a-
education because you need that to continue to pursue your dream. And if the dream doesn't work out, you've got something to fall back on. And a lot of people don't have that opportunity.
They just put all their baskets in the.
They're putting all their eggs in one basket. And if it works out, that's great. But if it doesn't, then life becomes a lot harder for them.
Okay, that makes sense.
But you've got to plan.
For sure.
You're a good student.
I
Are
get,
you a
I
good-
get I get okay grades.
You get okay grades.
They're okay.
What are you going to study in college if you
Probably business marketing.
business marketing? You got socials?
Yeah, I do.
Well, just so in case anybody wants to follow you right now, so I don't forget it. Where can they follow you at?
Instagram is readrook_fishing,
Uh-huh.
and then Facebook's just readrook.
And that is ROOKE.
Yes, sir. ROOKE.
ROOKE. Yeah, so like that. Tim, you got any questions for this young man, or your fingers sore, or have we done a good job with you tonight?
You guys are doing an outstanding job.
Well, I tell you what, since he is young, we're gonna get him out of here a little bit earlier than what we normally do. So
School start today?
School starts tomorrow.
Tomorrow for you?
Yes, sir.
You didn't tell me that. Tomorrow?
Tomorrow.
So Cherokee started today. That's the reason. I
Yeah,
asked.
Cherokee started today.
That's what happens when your kids get out of school. I don't keep up with that no more like that. So
That's my grandkids. I know.
yeah, okay. So your first day at Dawson County High tomorrow.
First
Not
day,
first
but
day,
yeah,
but first day of school
first
tomorrow
day
at
of school
Dawson County
tomorrow.
High. Well, I tell you what, listen, kid, seriously, you came in the other day. We just met.
Yeah.
We just met, but I'm glad to make your acquaintance, and we look forward to following you this year. It's nice once I put a face with a name.
Yes, sir.
Then when you guys are doing stuff like that, it's so much easier to follow, keep up, and all
Yes,
that.
sir.
And so I appreciate you coming on here, and I hope we weren't too hard on you. You did good. I know you was nervous to start,
It
but
was fun. It was a great opportunity.
well,
I really enjoyed it.
it's the opportunity is ours having you on here like that. So we appreciate you doing that, and man, we wish you a lot of success. And then I hope you don't mind. You and Lane get the fishing together, get a few tournaments on your thing. Maybe you two both come back up here and
Yeah,
sit down with me.
That'd be awesome. We'd
Yeah.
love to.
We do that. So, all right, guys. Well, I tell you what, we're gonna call it a night. This boy's got to go to school, and Kevin's got to get back home. You got a long ride and all that. And so the guys,
Not bad.
Tim, not bad, and Tim, but I appreciate Tim all the hard work you did back there figuring out the new buttons tonight. You did an outstanding job.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're awesome, and all you guys watching, seriously, appreciate you guys more than you know. The show is not anything without you guys. You guys, the guest and the comments are what run the show, and so we really appreciate you guys tuning in. And it's kind of an honor to be able to bring these guys like that to you guys and have you guys watch it. One of the best things in the world is somebody coming in the shop saying, "I watch your show," and it really makes us feel really good. And you have no idea how much we appreciate you guys. So we'll be back next Tuesday night with another great episode, and then next Thursday night. Matt McConnell is going to be on here. So we're going to be talking, I'm sure we'll talk a lot about the cast stuff and all that, but he's one of the best. Now that I've sat back and looked, he's one of the best all around anglers out there from the North Georgia area. Actually, he's a little bit farther south, but from the Georgia area. So you can look forward to that next Thursday. And then Tuesday, we'll figure it out in the next few days. If you're on the water this weekend, seriously, be careful. Watch out for these pop-up thunderstorms. You never know what you might want to get, and just watch everybody else around you. And again, Reed, thank you very much, man.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
All right, guys. We'll see you on the next one.